Hello and welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down the latest events today, and man, what a story.
This latest part was called The Prince and the Pauper.
And I am still trying to pick my jaw up off the floor. We have to talk about it. We have to start right there. A Knight of God, one of the top enforcers for the Celestial Dragons, was the one who helped Fisher Tiger escape Mary Geoise.
And we find out who it was.
I can't even believe I'm saying this. It was Shanks. Are you kidding me? Okay, let's back up. Let's go through the whole thing from the top because every part was just dropping bombshells.
Let's start at the beginning. It all kicks off 5 years after the God Valley incident.
Right. The world is in chaos. Roger's on his way to becoming the Pirate King. You've got Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido all starting to become the emperors we know. And the world government has this secret weapon.
A giant figure attacking pirate ships from within a thick mist. It was Harald. He made a deal to atone for his people's past by becoming the government's attack dog.
Can you imagine being a pirate on the Grand Line and just seeing this colossal silhouette step out of the fog? It's like something out of a horror movie. It reminds me of Zunesha, just this impossibly huge being emerging from the mists, but instead of just walking, this one is actively hunting you. Such a raw deal, man. He's doing it for Elbath, but he's just a tool for them.
He believes he is securing his nation's future, but he's really just becoming a pawn in their global power struggle. It's a classic world government move. We've seen it time and time again. Find a powerful group or individual and either destroy them or co-opt them. They did it with the warlords, turning powerful pirates against other pirates. They did it with the Pacifista program, cloning the power of Kuma. They saw the giant threat, a race of warriors they could never truly conquer, and decided to put it on a leash.
And we find out it's not just him. The Marines officially started drafting giants into their ranks to fight in the Great Pirate Era. This is the origin of the Giant Squad in the Marines. John Giant, all those guys we saw at Marineford, this is where it all started. Harald wasn't just a personal deal, he was the key that opened the door for the world government to tap into Elbath's military might.
It's a very effective strategy. By having Harald as their poster boy, it legitimizes the idea for other giants. They see one of their own, a prince, working with the government, and it makes it an honorable path.
And that leash has a name. The story then jumps back to 24 years ago, where Harald is up in Mary Geoise meeting the 5 elders themselves.
They officially bring him into the fold. He's not just working for them. He's being initiated into the Knights of God, the full ceremony.
They make him a devoted blade of God. That title is so cold. It's so badass on the surface, but when you think about it, it's completely dehumanizing. He's not Prince Harald, warrior of Elbath. He's a blade, an inanimate object meant to be wielded by someone else. By God, meaning Emu and the Celestial Dragons.
The ceremony itself was fascinating. That symbol they placed on his arm, it wasn't a tattoo, it glowed. It looked like some sort of magical seal or advanced technology we haven't seen before.
Right. Is it like a binding contract? Can they use it to control him or track him? It was creepy, man. It looked like something you'd see in a demonic ritual, not a knighting ceremony.
It's more than creepy. It's a hierarchy. They explain there are 3 levels. Harald is at the lowest, the shallow covenant.
Shallow covenant. That sounds so dismissive. Like you're one of us, but you're in the kiddie pool. They're telling him to his face that he's disposable, that he's on the lowest rung of the ladder, and he just has to take it because he needs them.
Exactly. Above that is the depths covenant, and at the very top, the abyssal covenant. The language there is so specific. Shallow, depths, abyssal. It's a descent into the dark. The deeper you go, the closer you are to the truth of the world government, the closer you are to Emu, and those 2 highest ranks are reserved for only 13 specific individuals.
13. That's such a specific number. That can't be a coincidence. What does it represent? Maybe the original 20 kingdoms minus the Nefertari family leaves 19. That doesn't fit. Could it be a completely new group? Emu's personal guard? 13 apostles of a false god? It gives me the chills.
And they are chosen directly by Emu. They dangle this in front of Harald. They don't just tell him this for fun. It's a motivation tool. They tell him if he becomes a proper knight, if he ascends through the covenants, he'll get to meet Emu, and Elbath will finally be recognized by the world government and get a seat at the Reverie.
Oh, that's just dirty. It's psychological manipulation 101. They know exactly what he wants, the one thing he's willing to sacrifice everything for, and they're using it to make him do whatever they ask. And of course he accepts, because he's a good dude who just wants the best for his home. He's so pure-hearted that he can't see he's making a deal with devils.
Garling even gives him a long-distance Dendenmushi, but tells him he can't breathe a word of what happens in the Holy Land to anyone. He's completely isolated. He can't seek counsel from his own people or from Ida. They've cut him off from his support system.
It's a lonely job, a super lonely job. But then we get a little bit of a brighter moment. We get a scene from 20 years ago and Harald is visiting Fishman Island.
He's drinking with King Neptune, and they're laughing together. It was a nice change of pace, a moment of genuine connection between two leaders of races that are often discriminated against by the surface world.
I loved this part. This is peak One Piece world building for me. A giant and a merman king, just two dads hanging out, swapping stories. Neptune is talking about how Loki isn't as bad as people say, and definitely not as wild as Harald was in his youth. It's just so wholesome. It shows us the man Harald is when he's not being a blade of God.
And there's a strategic element to this friendship as well. An alliance between the giants and the fishmen could be a formidable force, one that could challenge the world government's authority over the seas. Then, Neptune brings up that a fortune teller predicted he'd have a daughter in 4 years.
Shirahoshi, Madame Charlie's prophecy. It's all connecting.
And Neptune suggests betrothing her to Loki, a political marriage between the giants and the fishmen. He frames it as a joke, but you can tell he's serious. It would solidify their alliance for the next generation.
Harald immediately shoots it down, calling it ridiculous. But then Neptune says she might be born with some incredible power, and you could just see the gears turning in Harald's head. His expression completely changed. He knows something.
The ancient weapon Poseidon. He may not have known the specifics, but the legends of a mermaid princess who could command sea kings have persisted for centuries. He might not have believed it was real until that moment, when Neptune, himself, a royal of the Ryugu kingdom, brought it up. The prophecy was already in motion.
My favorite part was Harald joking that Neptune's daughter would probably be Shaggy, and Neptune getting all offended, yelling, "My daughter will be the most beautiful mermaid in the world." Just a great lighthearted scene before things get heavy again. It's like a deep breath before the plunge.
And during that same year, we get another piece of the puzzle. Jaguar D. Saul finally settles in Elbath, and Harald asks him to open a school.
Which he does. It's so cool to see how all these pieces fit together. Saul wasn't just hiding there after Ohara. He was invited by Prince Harald himself. He was building something. Harald, for all his work with the WG, is still trying to do good for his own people, bringing in outside knowledge and culture. He wants Elbath to be more than just a nation of warriors.
It also establishes Elbath as a place of refuge for those who defy the world government, which creates a fascinating internal contradiction for Harald. He's working for the system while simultaneously harboring one of its most wanted fugitives.
He's living a double life, but then we flash forward again, 15 years ago, to one of the most legendary events in the entire story.
The Fisher Tiger incident, his escape from Mary Geoise. We see a young Fisher Tiger, bloodied and beaten but defiant, ready to fight for his life against a knight of God who's blocking his path. The tension is incredible.
I was ready for a huge fight. I thought we were going to see a holy knight just absolutely wreck Fisher Tiger. But then the knight doesn't attack. He just raises his sword and slices off Fisher Tiger's slave collar.
That single moment is one of the most shocking things I've ever seen. A holy knight, an enforcer of the celestial dragon's will, freeing a slave. It's an act of high treason.
I lost it. I was like, wait, what is happening? I had to take a second to process that. A knight of God is helping him? He tells Tiger he left the armory unlocked and even gives him directions to cause the biggest possible distraction. This was a planned operation.
This is the act that allowed Tiger to set the Holy Land on fire, creating the chaos that let Boa Hancock, her sisters, Koala, and so many other slaves escape. It's the founding event of the Sun Pirates. It changed the lives of Jinbei and Arlong. It led to Queen Otohime's death. The ripple effects of this one moment are still being felt today.
The whole time, for years, we thought he did it all himself. We pictured Fisher Tiger as this one-man army who scaled the Red Line with his bare hands and took on the whole world alone. But a knight of God helped him, a traitor. And then there's the meeting afterwards. Garling has all the knights assembled, including Harald, and he says one of them is the traitor. He is furious.
And that's when Garling introduces a new recruit to fill the ranks and, in his words, root out the rot.
I was not ready for this. My brain literally could not process what I was seeing.
A young Shanks with a fresh injury. He's introduced as a devoted blade of God, the same low rank as Harald.
No way. Shanks was a holy knight. He was working for the celestial dragons. That's it. That's the reason. That's how he can just waltz into Mary Geoise and talk to the 5 elders. It wasn't some special permission because he's an emperor. He's one of them. He's a former employee.
It recontextualizes everything, his entire relationship with the world government. He's not an outsider to them. He's an insider who plays by his own rules. When he went to warn them about Blackbeard, he wasn't a pirate meeting with the enemy. He was a former colleague coming in for a consultation. It makes his entire character so much more complex and morally gray.
And the way he acts here, this isn't our Shanks. This isn't the guy who gave Luffy the hat. Harald recognizes him, says he looks familiar, and Shanks just shuts him down, ice cold, calls him a peon, and tells him not to talk to him like they're equals. The sheer arrogance.
He's performing. He's playing a role. He's a young, ambitious man who needs to project an image of ruthless devotion to the celestial dragon's cause. He can't afford to look weak or friendly. He's deep undercover.
And he's ambitious. He tells another knight, a guy named Shamrock, that he wants to find the traitor himself so he can rise up the ranks. He's putting on this show of being a company man, a ladder climber. But the line that got me, the line that is going to keep me up at night, is when Shamrock tells him to rest his injury and Shanks refuses. He says he already wasted 24 years of his life and wants to make up for it.
He's 24 years old in this scene. He's saying his entire life up to that point was a waste.
What does that even mean? He was on Roger's ship. He sailed with the Pirate King. He was raised by them. How was any of that a waste? Is this about him being a figureland? Does he feel like he should have been raised as a celestial dragon, living in luxury in the Holy Land? Does he resent Roger for taking him away from that? That thought is just... it's horrifying.
There are several ways to interpret it. Maybe he believes his time as a pirate was a distraction from his true mission. Maybe Roger told him something about the Figureland family or about the Void Century, and Shanks feels he wasted time not acting on it. Or perhaps, and this is a darker thought, he sees his time with Roger as being a pawn in someone else's game, and now, for the first time, he feels he is in control of his own destiny.
I have so many questions. Was he the traitor who helped Fisher Tiger? It seems so obvious now, right? He shows up right after, injured, and is hyper-focused on finding the traitor to throw people off his scent. It's a classic misdirection.
Harald is suspicious of him too. You can tell. He's just staring at him, thinking. He can tell something is off about this kid who looks so familiar.
Okay, I need to take a breath. That whole sequence was insane. I think I need to lay down. And the story wasn't even done. We go back to Elbath in that same year.
And things are not well. Ida has fallen ill.
So sad, man. The heart of their community is just fading. No doctors can figure out what's wrong. Hydra Dean and his crew of giant pirates, the ones who joined the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, this is their origin story. They have to leave Elbath to go searching for a doctor who can help her.
And she's so selfless. Some of the giants suggest calling Harald, using his influence with the world government to get a world-class doctor, but she refuses. She won't drag him away from his mission for Elbath. She knows how important it is to him.
It's so tragic. Her friends are telling her how much Harald loves her, how he begs the elders to let him make her his wife every time he comes home, but she's content just running her bar, meeting sailors, gathering information. She sees that as her way of helping him. They're such a good couple working towards the same goal from different angles, and now they're being torn apart.
It also shows the other side of Loki. He shows up with food for her, acting all grumpy and pretending he's just annoyed he can't go to his favorite bar.
But you can tell he's super worried. It's such a classic tsundere act. He cares so much he doesn't know how to show it except by being difficult. Her friends even say he's like a second son to her, just like Hyruden, and Ida is so touched to hear it. It's building up this found family.
And then Loki goes to investigate. He doesn't accept that this is just a mystery illness. He goes to Estrid's home village, Brewer's Village, the place known for its potent concoctions.
And he finds out the truth. My God, this reveal hit me almost as hard as the Shanks one.
Loki isn't sick. She was poisoned.
Are you kidding me? The villagers from his own mother's hometown poisoned Ida. And their reason is just the worst, most pathetic, petty reason imaginable.
They didn't want an outsider marrying into the royal family. They were afraid of losing their status and fortune if Harald, the more popular prince, made Ida the queen instead of Loki marrying one of their own.
And they confess it to Loki. They just tell him straight up. They are so arrogant and insulated in their privilege that they assume that as Estrid's son, he'd be on their side, that he'd be happy they took out his romantic rival for the throne. What a massive, world-ending mistake.
An absolutely fatal mistake. Loki's face is just pure, unrestrained fury. You can see the moment a boy becomes a monster. He sets the entire village on fire.
Good. Burn it down. I'm with him. He grabs the guy who mixed the poison and just screams, asking if they were lying about it being fatal. He's not just looking for revenge. He's desperately clinging to the hope that she can be saved.
And then he delivers one of the most powerful lines, the line that recontextualizes his entire character. He reveals that his mother, Estrid, cast him out into the underworld the day he was born because he wasn't strong enough.
He hates her and all of her people, and then he yells it for everyone to hear as the village burns around him. Ida is the only mother I have. I completely lost it. That was it. That was the moment. He's not a prince avenging a commoner. He's not fighting for political power. He's a son avenging his mom.
It changes his character completely. He's not just some arrogant prince fighting with Shanks over a girl. He's a deeply traumatized person who was abandoned by his blood family and found a real one with Ida. And he just watched these people, his mother's people, take her from him out of pure greed.
That was super powerful. The emotion in that scene, a character we all had pegged as a simple antagonist, was just flipped completely upside down, given one of the most tragic backstories in this whole saga.
It explains everything about his rage and his motivations. This is the central conflict of Elbath, not just pirates versus giants, but a civil war brewing from within, rooted in classism, prejudice, and a broken family.
Whew. Okay, what a story. I'm exhausted. Let's get to predictions. What do you think is coming next?
I'll start. My first prediction is that we will learn what the poison is. It's not just random toxin. It's something specific to the giant royal families, perhaps from a rare plant on Elbath. Hyruden's quest won't be for a doctor, but for a very specific antidote.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, my turn. I predict we'll open next time with the immediate aftermath of Loki burning the village. The news is going to spread across Elbath like wildfire, and someone is going to use that long-distance Den Mushi to contact Harald and tell him to come home. He's going to be torn between his duty to the WG and the chaos erupting in his family.
That feels inevitable.
For my second prediction, I think we will learn more about Shanks' injury. Shamrock mentioned it, and Shanks brushed it off. I believe he sustained it while freeing Fisher Tiger, and it might be a permanent scar that will be a clue to his identity or past actions. It's not just a random wound.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Okay, my second one. The 13 individuals chosen by Emu for the highest covenant ranks, I think we're going to meet another one of them. Shanks wants to rise in the ranks, which means there's a ladder to climb. We might see one of the people in the Depths Covenant that he's aiming to surpass.
A new top-tier threat. That's a strong possibility. My final prediction is about Shanks' line, "I wasted 24 years of my life." We're going to get a direct confirmation of why he feels that way. My theory is that he learned the truth of his heritage as a Figarland, and he sees his time with Roger as not an adventure, but time he could have been spending in Mary Geoise, claiming what he believes is his birthright.
Man, that would be so dark. To see our Shanks view his time on the Oro Jackson as a waste? That's a chilling thought. Okay, my last one. Loki's rampage isn't over. He knows Ido is poisoned, but he doesn't know if it's fatal. His next move is to go find his mother, Estrid. He's going to confront her directly, believing she was the mastermind behind the whole plot.
A direct confrontation between mother and son. The emotional core of the arc. I can see it.
That's our show for this week. What a story. We'll see you all next time on Inherited Dawn.